Hey everybody, so sometimes in my comments, people sort of suggest that me copy trading, I just copy people, I let them do the trading for me. People suggest that's some sort of moral failing, all right? That they seem to say that, Tom, you should learn how to do this yourself. What are you doing copy trading? This is the absolute worst thing you can possibly do. I never know what to say to them because I sort of think it's a copy trading site, right? And I've made loads of videos about the merits of copy trading, but they still won't have any of that. They sort of say, no, you should be doing it yourself. As if it really as if it's a moral issue, a virtue problem. Now, most people who come into these sites, most of us who retail investors, we're not financially trained. We didn't go to finance trading school or whatever. We just came in and we want to do something with our money, right? Trading looks like an amazing way to get my money to work for me. Maybe I can make some money on the side. I don't want to have 4 jobs. No one's got extra time and stuff. Is that we see it happening? Is there any way it can happen for me that my money can actually make more? So we come into sites like this. Most of us lose money. We try our hand at manual trading, and most of us statistically make mistakes, the same sort of mistakes all of us are making, sort of more gambling than trading, because I don't think we see any difference. It's a big comment I get as well. And we lose money. So what is it that these guys are doing? What really goes into being a trader? That's what I want to find out. Does it take 5 minutes a day? Some guy commented that he spends 1 hour every quarter and he's making loads of money. 1 hour every 3 months and he's making money. Is that possible for most people? So here we are. I'm going to ask them. I asked them the same question. I changed the question a little bit for each one of them, but these guys they're doing well, right? They've got good statistics over a long period of time. I see them as sort of profitable, actual traders, as opposed to me, who used to come in and I tried in the beginning, made all the sort of common mistakes, lost a lot of money. Let's see what they did. What were their answers to the questions? We'll start with, over here, Thomas Parry Jones. Great trader. He's on the Black Star, top rung of the Popular Investor Program, the people we can copy. What were his answers to my questions? Let's have a look. Okay, here's Thomas Parry Jones. He says, hey there, Thomas. For me, it's a 24/7 thing. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're living and breathing this. This is something I've noticed from people I've interviewed over the years, traders. This is like their lifestyle, right? It's not just sort of they dip in and out of it. It becomes kind of their whole life. I work in commodity trading as an analyst. He works in it. It's his profession. So whilst working, are watching these things anyway. He's always watching it. Commodities are a 24 hours, 7 days a week market. And I'm part of a global team, so we'll need to be paying attention from when I wake up to when I go to bed. I try and check over every stock in my portfolio once a day thoroughly, looking pre-market at the move, so before the market's open, checking what the price is, checking on published, that should be on, checking on published articles, etc., and then coming into the market close to check in and see if everything's changed. Now, it takes quite a lot of experience and skill to be able to just check before, read the published articles, check at the end, and that's okay. When I tried this myself, I was just twitchily there all day watching it going up and down. What does this mean? What does this mean? I had no idea of the context of the markets, of how the markets moved. Absolute noob, and everything was catching me out. If I saw it going down, oh my god, it's never going to go up again. If I saw it going up, I better sell now. It was terrible to not have that context. It's like sort of fumbling around, blind, panicking. So one thing I see when I read what these guys are doing is that I can see now over time the skill that they have and the calmness and the sort of collected nature of their actions, which comes from having that experience. So I then trade when I think it's the right thing to do, rather than a set time each day. Because I had asked them, is it 9 to 5, and no, obviously not. Happy to chat more, as I find it all very interesting. These guys, they genuinely like this subject, right? This is their passion. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so the next one is Amit, who's actually the trader that I'm copying, who has done the best for me. And he's someone I certainly, when I read his stuff, obviously you can go to like Amit's wall over here on his feed and you can sort of read things he's written, his sort of just observations about the market. And he's definitely someone where when I read his observations, I get really this understanding of how long his view of the markets is, as opposed to me who's looking at what's happening this minute. He's looking at, entire continents, the macroeconomic factors, what's happening politically over here, what's happening in this country, on this continent, in this region. It's a huge view that he takes, and over a much longer time span. And I'm just constantly impressed with that when I look at Amit. So he says, hi bud, I try not to be dictated by the daily market movement, so I'm not in front of the screen checking the price every moment. I'm trying to assess once a day if there are good opportunities to buy new assets or add to the existing ones. Therefore, in terms of time, actual watching the price of my holdings or the market doesn't take more than an hour a day on most days. So he's spending little time actually just twitchily watching the numbers and the charts, which I was just doing constantly and getting nowhere. Instead, what's he doing? I invest a few hours every day on reading and analyzing, which you might not always see. This effort often reveals itself only after I decide to execute a specific trade. It's taken me hours, sometimes even years, to accumulate the information and knowledge needed for some of our current investments. A good example for years would be Wise, which is one of the assets that he's currently trading. So obviously it takes a long time to get this good, to know the context. They say it takes thousands, what is it, 1,000 hours or something, to be 5,000 hours to be a master at anything. I think to understand the markets you want to trade in, he's obviously around energy sector and stuff, it takes a long time to get used to what makes those markets move and what are the sort of regular patterns. What should I look out for? Currently I'm reading 3 books: The World for Sale, Material World, a substantial story of our past and future, and Value Investing, which is obviously his approach, for the 3rd time. So there we are, just absorbing books, always learning. And these guys, I found it in my own life that I learn things which I'm genuinely interested in. I'm constantly reading things and studying and watching podcasts, but it's about things I'm interested in. I can't really force myself to do that about things I'm not interested in. So, I really do think these guys, it's a natural interest of theirs. I believe this approach, combined with a long-term perspective, is essential for successful investing. It allows me to stay focused on fundamentals. What's that? The fundamentals of companies. What really makes them valuable, all right? Some people focus on the technical stuff, the charts, market sentiment, what's the hype around something. He's really focusing on the fundamentals of companies and of the sector, trying to analyze, is this a good business? Is it a sound business? What value investing is. Investors who are looking for currently undervalued companies, you have to know how to analyze a company's balance sheet and their prospects in terms of business to be able to do that. It takes some experience and skill I don't have, and really don't have the time or the interest to cultivate that level of in-depth analysis of companies and sectors. He does. So it allows me to stay focused on fundamentals of companies and avoid impulsive decisions driven by short-term market fluctuations. And here we are, impulsive decisions driven by short-term market fluctuations. Can't really come up with a better description of why I and many people statistically lose money when we have a go at trading, when we don't know the markets and we don't understand the context. We see, impulsive decisions, we just make that decision now. There's no clear plan based on short-term, what's happening right now in the market fluctuations. So that's what he's doing. He says, have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Amit. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, the next one's 10x cycle trader Melvin Monqui, who I've copied for quite a while, actually. All right, he says, as a full-time technical analyst and trader. So TA, this one here. Have you ever seen those stock charts, the green bars and the red bars, which you see going up and down? No one knows what they mean. But it looks cool. It looks like some stock market stuff. He's a technical analyst. This guy is sort of looking at that. They look at the patterns, the ratios, the maths in those, and try and work out market sentiment to work out, from looking at the past, what's sort of probable about what might happen in future. They're trying to look at the probabilities of the future based on past events. Now, the last guy we looked at, he wasn't doing that. He was a sort of a fundamental analysis kind of guy, looking at the actual companies. How's the company doing? This guy's really looking at the charts and trying to work out previous sentiment in the future. Very different approach, but it takes a lot of sort of practice and skill and experience to really get good at it. People have a go when they first start trading. Let's have a go with the charts. It takes a while to really understand them. I spend a large part of my day, Monday to Friday, in blocks of 1 to 2 hours, reviewing the various tickers, the different assets he's trading that I trade, as I manage multi-portfolios, each with their own themes, their own strategies, and their own timeframes. Is he day trading? Is it over a week long? Is it multiple year investments? Is, various different approaches. And obviously strategies. There are many strategies you can employ which are well known and documented towards trading. Which one's going to be right for you? It takes time and experience to sort of work that out, which one fits your temperament, your level of patience or attention or whatever. Other than the CISI Level 3 certificate required to be an elite PI, I hold no other formal qualifications in finance. So to become a popular investor in finance, in eToro, the people we copy, you don't have to be financially trained. You just have to be good at it, good enough that people will actually start copying you because of your results. But eToro did implement a thing where they make people go through some qualifications. They have some qualifications. He's got them. He's saying he's not otherwise trained in finance. However, he says, I have, however, spent many thousands of hours studying the work of W.G. Gann, Leonardo Fibonacci, very famous mathematician, Walter Bressert, I believe an economist from the 1800s, numerology, and other mathematical themes. So this guy is very into the maths of things, pattern recognition, the maths. Backtesting and journaling also keeps me busy, lol. So when people talk about, why don't you become a manual trader? And I look at what these people put into being a manual trader, what they have to go through, or what they want to go through, what's their interest. I think, well, it's not just a matter of Can I do it? Do I want to do it? To do anything properly, you really have to devote a lot of time to it. You can't force yourself to do it. It has to be with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and the joy is really what makes people great at things, And I do believe that there's a natural joy and enthusiasm for different things for different people. He's got it for maths, right? He's got it for maths. I have it for other things. So why don't I just take advantage of their skill and let them do it for me? That's what really my answer to all these people who ask me that question. Why not just do it yourself? This is my thinking, at least. Let me know what your thinking is in the comments. Is that something you agree with? How do you view this? I wouldn't say I'm around financially minded people a lot, although I do like to listen to trading giants such as Paul Tudor Jones and Stan Druckenmiller, to name a few, to understand how they think. Now, I do that as well. You might as well. The rest of it isn't there for me. I listen to it casually when I'm walking the dog sometimes, and, reading Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom by Van K. Tharp was a real, this is breakthrough, he says later, breakthrough for me because I'm a very systematic thinker. So he's found a style which suits his natural way of thinking. I'm very selective about the financial news I listen to, as they are more often than not a lagging indicator. All that means is that the news is usually talking about what happened in the past. He wants to know what's about to happen. He talks here about something called red and yellow folder data points, which sounds very complex. All that means is that these guys have calendars, right? They have calendars of all the financial events coming up, and they're sort of sorted, categorized. Red and yellow events will be the ones most likely to move the market. So he says he watches them, right? Maybe the unemployment statistics or employment statistics, the non-farm payrolls, or the, inflation numbers, So he's watching that stuff, and that's his interest. These guys live and breathe this stuff. They know what's happening, and they have calendars set up to remind them. So that's what he's talking about. He says, hope this helps, but if there's anything else you'd like me to add, please feel free to ask. All the best, Vin. Thank you so much, Melvin. Really lovely to hear that. Again, another different approach to trading. Last one. So Fund Manager Zek says, hey Thomas, great question. Portfolio decisions are rare. This is what people see maybe 1 to 2 times a week. So what we see of them trading is maybe, they look like they're not doing much. How are we meant to know, It's a common thing. You see people when they first start joining on eToro and they're copying someone. Why aren't you using all my money? You see them on the wall. Hey, I've been copying you for 3 days. Nothing's happened. Is it okay? Is it working? I think, because we just want to see our money used. It's really exciting. But you often see these things. We don't know what's going on under the surface. We sort of have these preconceptions. I did, and a lot of people do, that you need to be trading 40 times a day. Now, some traders do that. They trade really, really rapidly. Other traders might put a trade on once every 2 weeks. It depends on their style. So we often see that. So he's saying maybe 1 to 2 times a week, his portfolio actual decisions are rare. However, research is constant and never ending. Something I've heard from all of the people who do well at trading is that they'll be out. I remember Jeppe Kirkbond saying he was out with friends socializing. He noticed they were all drinking that Campari stuff. What was that stuff? Aperol Spritz, that's it, the orange stuff or whatever. He noticed they were all drinking it, and so everyone's enjoying the evening, and he's darting off home to check the company and see, why are they all drinking this? Why is there a sudden, and he invested in it, So these guys live and breathe. They're kind of this type of thinking. So research is constant, never ending. As a baseline, I have around 4 to 8 podcasts I listen to a week and spend approximately 8 to 20 hours a week looking at articles, building models, reviewing legal docs, stock screeners, etc. I work in the crypto industry, which is something I didn't know about him, very interesting, as well. So I look at the markets all the time, literally. And he goes on to explain what he means by that, which is, I have a few monitoring bots. If you know what bots are, they're just like little programs, software programs, that fire off every hour, even when I'm sleeping, and alerting software in case of volatility. So even whilst he's asleep, his little automatic programs, once an hour, they check all the things that he's actually trading. And if one of them has a lot of volatility, it's moving in price suddenly, it alerts him. I don't know if it wakes him up and he starts trading. Possibly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's that level of attention that these guys don't want to miss an opportunity. And you can see that to set that sort of thing up, that's a level of involvement and engagement with the markets, which I'm really not prepared for. I admire it. It's amazing. But they've made this their life. They're not sort of out making videos or doing something with their time or whatever. They're doing this as, they realize what goes into it, what has to go into this to have a really successful portfolio and then get all these copiers that these guys have. It takes a lot of effort. So I'm constantly surrounded by markets, industries. He works obviously in the crypto industry, so he's constantly surrounded by brokers and research, etc. a lot. But I'm not sure if this is a benefit or a drawback. Now that's another thing. When we come into eToro, I'm going to go to the homepage here and you can see the feeds. So when we come in, we often see this wall. I did at least. And there's all people who are very sure of their own opinions, posting all sorts of things about different stocks, different assets. And literally when I was first here, I'd hear someone sounding absolutely sure of themselves. Buy this, buy this. And I'd go for it. Oh my God, this is an amazing opportunity. I'd have bought it. 2 minutes later, there's someone who sounds equally sure of themselves saying, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole. Sell, sell, sell. I'm panicking, buying, selling all over the place. It's an absolute mess. I think the traders who really, when they make a trade, they're not just doing it on impulse. They know when they're going to buy it, how much they're going to buy, when they expect to exit that trade. If it loses this much, then close the trade. How much leverage am I going to use? They work this stuff out before. They have a system. And there's always going to be contradictory opinions. They're going to see them all over the place. So they have to really start to depend and trust in their own opinion through thick and thin so that they're not working off impulse. They're working off objective criteria and an actual system. And you can only get like that if you know that you've put the right amount of research and preparation into your trades, I think. So that's why he says, not sure if this is a benefit or a drawback. Last thing he says, he's talking to this guy who said, you know, why don't you do an interview together? He says he's open to it if I'm interested, which is a great thing. Maybe we can sort of get some beginner tips for everyone and we can get something going in the future where there's some other videos there. Take advantage of the wealth of experience these guys have. So what do you think? Has that changed your mind at all about what it takes to be a trader? Do you think copy trading, because some people really just look down on copy trading completely. Do you see why I do it? Do you see what I'm trying to get from these guys? It's like sitting behind sort of the really cleverest kids in class and I can just sort of copy their homework. Except it's much nicer than that because I get to spend my time whilst they're doing that work, doing whatever I want. I've been making videos where I go off on my mum's little electric bike. I'm telling stories, walking my dog, and I'm really enjoying making those stories. I'm aware that I can't do that and do this. If I wanted to be a full-time trader, it would take a lot of the day. It's an involved thing. And I'm in a weird position, right? Because I've got this channel, I've got 64,000 subscribers. Maybe I sometimes do think it's very tempting. Maybe I could become a great trader, just devote my life to it, stop everything else, just stop it and just full on trading, learning and learning and learning and start a portfolio and start getting really great results. And over time, make videos about it and get people to copy me. Can you imagine the fees I'd get from eToro for being a popular investor? It's a huge thing, but I'd have to make my life this. Now, I've made lots of videos about it. I'm very interested in finance, but that level of involvement that my whole life is this, it's not in me. It's not a natural joy and enthusiasm. I listen to these other guys that I've been talking about. It's naturally in them. I listen to Jay Nemesis. I listen to Jeppe Kirk Bond. I listen to all of them who I've interviewed, and they love it. They love it. They say even if they weren't making money, they'd be doing this as a game, right? That's not me. And I know you need that level to really make it, to be a popular investor and to be sort of successful at it. It's tempting though. The other question is this gambling? I get that a lot. This is just gambling. You're all just gamblers. When I came in, not knowing the context of the markets, not knowing how things move, not understanding anything about the assets, not having done the research, I was gambling and I lost a lot of money doing it. I think a lot of people when we come in, I've said it before, when we come in, sort of that huge majority percentage of retail investors who lose money on these platforms, it's because we don't know what we're doing. We've got a gambling mindset. Let's get rich quick. We've seen about the stock market. Super exciting, right? We want to be involved. We want that adrenaline. We haven't yet learned that this is it's a slow but steady thing. And we lose money. And it's a terrible thing. It's a trap that a lot of us fall into. Where is the line? Can you see the line? I think to me it becomes more obvious when I listen to these people where the line is, where you go from gambler, and start, okay, you're a trader now. I think the difference between a trader and a gambler is just that preparation, is that study, is that, commitment to learning about the assets and everything about it. So there we are. If you've got other methods of trading, let me know. If you've got a fast way to do this, let me know. Have you lost a lot of money trying to gamble? Have you become a trader? Have you moved, or are you just copy trading? Some people are copy trading a lot whilst they learn to trade with a bit of their money. Some people use the virtual portfolio to learn how to do it because it's connected to the live markets, but not with real money. What's your system? Anyhow, I'm glad that there's copy trading. I mean, it's what really drew me to it when I came in, and I'm still enjoying it as a concept. I think it's fantastic. Anyhow, there we are. It's not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. Really, I mean, that's the whole thing, isn't it? It takes a lot of research to become good at this. I'm still an amateur. But there we go. Hope you're well. God bless. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.